this is commonly known as premises liability or trip and fall, but it includes so much more than just your trip and fall. So it does include, as we just talked about, the product liability for retail that you sell. And we'll talk about this a little bit longer because I want to get to talk about product in general, but we'll go on to that in a minute. Advertising injury, for instance, we had someone who was sued because someone said they stole their logo. So this is where advertising injury, that type of liability, would fall under this. Excuse me. I'm going to take a sip of water. Excuse me. Thank you. So general liability could be your trip and fall, which is always the one we think of when we think of general liability. So if you're renting space, if you have a lease on property, if you're an independent contractor working within someone's space, you really need to find out from them whether they would have coverage for you if a client tripped or fell. So that's what we think of mostly when we think of premises liability and trip and fall. But product liability is huge now because so many of the salons and spas have beautiful product that they're selling, and we want to make sure that if someone buys a product, brings it back, and says they were injured because of it, that we have a path to proper protection for that. So that's our general liability. Oh, and here we have a question. Okay, this is a good one, especially for independents. So, Kelly, if you want to launch that one.
Absolutely. And then I have another question for you on this topic as well that came in.
Good. Do you want to do the question first? Or?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay,
so,
sure.
Just got a question in from one of our audience members who happens to be a manufacturer of products.
Okay.
And so she's a little outside the salon spa environment, but she says as a manufacturer of cosmetic tools and body care products, I would need commercial general liability coverage for my products, not professional product liability coverage.
Right. Okay. As long as you're just selling the product, then you're absolutely correct. You would need the general liability for the product, for the sale, in case anyone says they were injured from the product. If you are having anyone do demonstrations with that product, so you take that product to a salon and you have your esthetician come with you to demonstrate that product, you would need professional liability for that person who's actually applying the product. But as long as you're just manufacturing and selling it, then you're absolutely correct. You would just need the general liability. Is that clear?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Whenever you're involved putting something on someone, or whenever you're touching someone and doing a service, you definitely need the professional. If you're not doing any of that, then you could just do the general liability.